for you. Anybody else put yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Like, it just highlights a song for a season. And this morning I told you about my best friend. She also runs a company, and she has 7 kids and homeschools, and she's a breadwinner, and she works in mediation with divorcing couples and like high stress, high stress. And so I sent this to her. So it's called Always on Time by Elevation Worship if you want to look it up later. But God is always on time. Can I get an amen? We can feel like it's like he is just not on time. You're like sometimes, and we have to resist that. We have to resist thinking, well, what's happening? But you just stay in it. You keep doing the $1,000,000 daily. You keep sending your 100 messages. You keep sending the next thing to the next person. Because you stay in it, others won't. They are going to get discouraged. They are going to decide that they want to do something else. They are going to have a shiny object. Look, there's a squirrel, and off they go. But you stay in it. You set your face like flint. You stay on track, and God will meet you and be on time. So let's open to questions, and let's just really lean into like whatever's in the way. I really believe whatever's in your way, God is making a way. Now, I know the world doesn't look at that, because they can start to think, oh my goodness, oh, this looks like, oh, this is. We constantly have an opportunity to reframe any situation in our favor. Every day we can reframe something in our favor. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody else has to go without. God is a big pie God. God is a more than enough God. And we should all actually be feeling like that, because it doesn't matter what level you're at, right? The first time you're learning to close something. The next time you're doing a multiple. You go from one to group. You're in the group. You also have a side hustle. Maybe you got another business. You got all this stuff that's happening. God keeps increasing your capacity for tenacity. Keeps increasing it. He keeps increasing your freak out factor. You don't get freaked out when, maybe 5 years ago, you were freaked out way long ago. He keeps increasing it because we want to be that way. If we are not, we will fall into complacency, or we will become and think that God is the God of just enough. Right? You meet those just enough people. I got just enough for me. I don't think that's biblical. So today we are going to lean in. We are going to take a hold of what's that next thing that could be opened up, that's going to spring forth cash flow, a new team member, a new level, closing a 100K offer, doing something a little bit different, bringing those people in, right? It's small tweaks for quantum leaps. Small tweaks for quantum leaps. Okay, who is ready with your question for this first hour? Then we'll take a 5-minute break in between. Let's go. Leanna, come on in. Remember, start with, my question is. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, beautiful coach. My question is, out of the many questions I have, I think I most need help with the clients that I'm doing calls with right now, or the potential clients, I should say, that I'm doing calls with right now. And yeah.
Okay, so you have a bunch of strategy calls on the go. So anybody else who's doing strategy calls, are you saying strategy calls or 10-minute calls?
I have a strategy call with one, and I have a 10-minute call with one who I don't want to say I'm sure she's going to go into a strategy call, but we had a 10-minute call a while back, and I think now she's like, oh, she came to my master class yesterday, and I think now she's like, okay, I'm ready to face my fear. So
okay, she's hot and ready. So I want you guys to remember,
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a strategy call.
But don't give a lot of thought to your 10-minute calls. I want you to remember, you just want to get on a lot of them. You just want to get on a lot of them if you want to close sales, right? So you just want to get on like 100 10-minute calls as fast as possible, because the 10-minute call isn't a sales call.
Right.
10-minute call, right? You are assessing, not impressing. You're assessing, not impressing. So you're just looking to see who is a good fit. Right. So the strategy call, when you have a strategy call booked, you want to make sure that you've had as much as possible that's in your power, right? I have one that was booked for today, and there's just nothing. When people don't respond and they don't say anything, and you've sent the trigger message and there's nothing, like, again, I'll totally handle that in a minute. But do you have everything worked out in between you've been having the conversation so that you're going into the call already knowing how it's going to play out?
Um, that's where I was kind of wanting your help, because normally this person, it, it felt like a Holy Spirit intervention. I wasn't even going to invite her to the master class. Somebody on my team invited her, and I was going to delete the invite because she had kept saying no, but she saw it and she was like, "I'm coming."
Okay.
And she seems like she's like ready to learn to get to 10K months. And um, I asked her the questions on the on the master class and after the master class, and she seems to be seeing the gap and everything. But because it's been such a short time, I don't have this feeling like I know how this is gonna go.
Okay,
So I'm
so
kind of
so
wanting help
first
with
thing is
that,
everyone, like,
navigating.
if you've had the 10-minute call with somebody, always do a quick dial back in your chats, like your team, and say, like, what content have we sent her in addition to, like, you want to,
That's what I
hopefully
need to
she's
do, send
she's
her
come to your
content.
master class, she's watched
Yeah.
your, these are the 3 steps to 10x your business without burnout. These are your, whatever your video is, you want to make sure that they've had the ability. And in your Facebook group, you want to have in the guides section where they can just watch one video and it goes right to the next video and it goes right to the next video, or YouTube, or wherever you want to house your things. You want them to
Okay.
have the ability, right, to go into. So
Mm.
if they're in your Facebook group, then you just tag them in it, and it'll come
Mm-hmm.
back up to the top in your Facebook group as a video to watch. And this works really well instead of doing at everybody. So do like at their name. So if there's people that you're looking at the closing, you've just done a 10-minute call, you don't think they know, they have enough, then you can just do that. Then they on their own will often just start to binge and watch other things.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay. So,
Thank
and
you.
so guys, so part of this is I have so much content that there's things that I'll say that you're like, whoa, snap. But if you go back to Born to Influence, right, which is like step by step to get to 6 figures in 90 days, there is a section on your Facebook group in that training. So that's one thing you can
Well,
do.
thank you
Tag
for
her
that
in,
reminder.
right? So it's kind of a video sales letter, but really it's a lead magnet. It's really your masterclass. If you were to go evergreen, so let's say, so you're deciding you're going to go evergreen, you want to turn it into, again, I don't think this works as a strategy anymore, but a Facebook ad, people used to do this like during COVID. Facebook ad with your video and just have it all over. People are so savvy about those things now that it's a little bit different. I feel like when it's housed in your Facebook group and you're working on a 10-minute call, you have somebody who's been to something, and then you tag them, they will watch it. Okay, because they're already
Okay,
in the
that's a
process of
great idea.
okay,
I love it.
so do that right away, Leanna. I would lean into that. I want all of you to train your brain differently. Instead of just like I always say, hope is not a strategy. Please don't be offended. Hope is not a strategy. So I want you to always be thinking about what are the 10 ways this can go wrong. And I know that doesn't sound like positive thinking, but I reverse engineer situations constantly, and I'm an amazing planner. Like if I was to, and I get irritated when I hire people sometimes because think so comprehensively, right? Like I can outthink people in almost any environment I'm in. Whether I'm at a camp, I could probably outthink the director. If I'm at a restaurant, I know I could probably think the person who's running it. So I want you to start to think about, you've got this person. What are the things that is going to come up for sure? Instead of just having hope as a strategy, because it's not, start already thinking, if I can really think this through, of the reasons they're going to say no. What are their top level reasons
Mhm.
they're going to say no so that I can already be ready as to how I'm going to bring them towards a yes? Already, right? This is what
So
people do in the
good.
CIA. This is what they do in the military. They don't just go like, "Oh, let's sing some songs together. Maybe hope will be a strategy." Hope is not a strategy for the CIA. We have to be looking at like what are all the things? What like what are the exits? What's the entrances? When I go into a restaurant, I never sit with my back to any door. Can I get anybody else who's like that? I don't have any fear. I'm just like I like to be in charge. Anywhere I go somewhere, most people are lazy. Most people are apathetic. Most people are passive. Most people have no plan. They just walk around no plan. So I don't want to be at the mercy of someone who has no plan. Right? So I want you to think about it that way. You are looking, where is the exit? Where is the alpha dog in a room? Where is
Mhm.
likely something could go wrong? Right? It's like a Girl Guides motto, like be prepared, right? You want to be thinking about some of these things. Now, you don't want to talk to your prospect like that. There's purpose and method, right? In the scientific method, purpose and method. So we have a purpose of we are going to close the sales because it is in the best interest of your person. And I think
Oh yeah.
you overthink everything, Leanna. Stop overthinking and just start giving people the opportunity to make decisions. Give them your offer. Say, this is how I help. I'm going to help you get to this, and this is what it looks like. Right? This is the offer. Now, that is your purpose. That's not how you talk to them. But to present it to them for them to be able to, because the real conversation doesn't happen until they say no. I don't know if anybody else has figured that out. They
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I've thought it all over. It looks really great. You're really amazing. Everything's fantastic, but not right now because I don't have the money. Not right now because my kids are this. Not right now because Sally's going to college in September. Not right now because." And that is your way to start the conversation. I feel like
Mhm.
you give too much along your process. Like you want to give, you want to unlock, you want to invite them, and then get them to a place where they're uncomfortable and they start giving you excuses and get really good at dissecting it. So
Yeah.
where are the possibilities that she will say no? Because I think you overthink this. Like just have right if she's going to say I don't have enough money, then you have one that's the cost of not working with me, and a little video on ROI and ROE and what this looks like. Then you are prepared. You have your weapon in the weapons chest ready.
Mhm.
So what is the possibility? What is something that will be in her way for her saying yes?
Um, well, uh, not enough money may be something. Um, and I love your suggestions there. And I think I have those videos. And if I don't, they'd be easy to create. And then another thing, I think like she's already doing this Kingdom Builders Academy thing, which was part of why I had pulled back before because she was like seeming interested and then she was like, I'm doing this and I really like it.
Well, I can help
And but
you. I
yes,
can help you with that
but
because
then she was like, oh good, good.
I
Because
was
she
one.
was like,
No, but
go
I can
ahead.
help you with that. I can help you close that because I was one of Coach Tam's first 10 master coaches, and
Okay.
I created BTI because I didn't like this method. They wait to the end of the close, then they do all the objections. There's no sales training. So it's just like hope and
Yeah,
glory
that's
and
kind of what I
wow, we're
gathered.
all going to get together and we pray and
I
everybody cried for 2 hours. I couldn't stand it. I was like this is not like,
I
you know. I
I
did
asked
go
her a question.
I did
Sorry.
go to their events and there are some amazing people in there. So I don't want to say that. And I'm so
Right.
thankful I had the training because to be honest, I never would have considered even going down this like online. I would have kept everything in office if I hadn't had this experience. And I traveled. I've been in California. I've got pictures of me with Coach Tam. I was one of her first coaches. Like a lot of people you'll meet online in KBA, if you ask them
Yeah.
about me, I may have been the first person to help them know who they were called to serve and the things like that. but I didn't like anything about the way they did it, and it was always holiatizing. So I already know enough to be able to help you close that sale, because most of
Okay,
those
because I did.
people, they just go around the mountain. Every single one of them, they just like holiatize and, oh, I'll figure out my purpose again. Oh, I've just changed my niche. Oh wow, I'm
Yeah,
like, when are you going to get off that bus and learn how to sell something? So
I did.
but be thankful, because I can tell you everything, because that's how I created BTI. They told me not to do audios. They were like, "What are you doing? Why would you ever send an audio? That's so weird. Why would you not just send a blatant lead magnet?" I said, "Because it's called backdooring." They didn't understand anything I was saying. I said, "Let's just overcome all the sales obstacles in the whole conversation instead of wait to the end." Coach Tam has a 30-page document on how to overcome every obstacle at the end of the sales call. They just said, just get on a call. That's a nightmare. And people don't close, and then people think you're salesy and they think you slime me. And most Christians can't stand that approach. They feel like they got like taken advantage of by someone. Anyways, that's enough of my rant. What I'm saying is I can help you close that, because I was under that leadership. And I was one of the
Awesome.
original coaches. She's got like a whole ton now.
Yeah.
But I also don't like the model of somebody who doesn't know how to do anything, takes a 3 days, 5 days, and she's a coach, and then she's teaching people. I don't think that's fair. When people pay for something really well, it's not fair to have them have somebody who doesn't have the results teaching them. Do you guys agree? Like, that's just
Yeah.
disingenuous, right? Like, if somebody doesn't know
So
how to do the thing. So your person, just give her the freaking offer. I think you think too much about this,
I
Leanna.
did.
Give her the
I
offer.
did. I gave her the offer and I asked her some questions about because I remembered things that you've taught me in other closes and I asked her like what had she learned, what basically what was missing kind of thing and
Mm-hmm.
she basically told me she was afraid to get in the DMs and she didn't know how and she basically told me she hated that method of sales where you're getting on a call and you don't know what, the objection is going to be and you have to overcome it all then and that having help to learn how to close people in the DMs would be great.
Right. So
So that's
what
all
your
good.
ammunition is you need to ask her questions about her current. Say, would you be open to? Because if she's saying she's not open to leaving KBA, would you be open? Right? Because you have to ask this. Would you be open to exploring a different way, or a different method
Mm-hmm.
of whatever it is that her outcome is that she wants, making money, right? Say,
Yeah.
right, because it's like she's in a club. Like, that's a club. It's like a
Mhm.
club for people to
Yeah.
just like be like it's like church that meets every week that talks about business. It's good,
Yeah.
but at some point you got to get off your horse and you've got to learn sales mastery. And there's no sales teaching. There's how to do Kajabi teaching. There's all those kinds of things. There's like, you could spend 5 years. I know a person. Actually, I
Now they're
know
teaching her marketing, but not sales.
they don't teach any sales.
They're
So
teaching her ministry, but not
I
sales.
know 100 people that I met in 2019 who I was at a conference. They are to this day still in KBA, and they are still at this point. They are still trying to figure out their niche. I
Oh,
was
you're
like
kidding me.
scaling to my million, and actually I got interviewed like in there, and I part of the problem was they were like, "Can you share how this this system made your first million?" I said, "Actually, it wasn't your system. It was what was lacking in your system that I created my own that worked." So that wasn't a very good testimony. But what I would say to her though is just start to unlock, right? Would you be open to exploring a different method of building your business? Then I would ask questions of like, are you learning how to unlock? But the thing is, so some people, if they don't know the language, she's going to get overwhelmed. Start with this, because I want to make sure Tavia, are you still there? I want to make sure we get in for Tavia to have to, because I know she's juggling multiple things at the same time. But ask her, are you open to that? Because if she's not even open to this
Okay.
and you think it's a close, it's not. Um,
Right.
and some people have a belief system, it's strange to me, that you can only have one coach. Like some people think, oh, you can only have like, I just find that that's small pie thinking again, right? Like you have to be in
I
this or
agree.
that, which is like, no, if you have a
Sometimes you
sales
need more
coach,
than
you
one
might
coach.
have, right. And you might have a communication coach. You might have somebody who's helping you write your book. You might have somebody who is whatever. You have just different aspects of it. So start with that because I don't want you to waste your time. If she has the
Yeah.
outline of your course, right? Say, and again, I don't know all the ins and outs of that particular level that you have. But one thing that does
Hmm.
work that why I added with BTI is like is to you might want to work with her until she gets to 10K months
Right.
as
I
a
do that.
bonus, right?
Mhm.
Because with KBA it's just monthly and it goes on and on and on and then they just automatically charge you every year for the tuition for the whole year and people just keep doing this a club which it works for them so that's awesome but I don't think you want her to have sales mastery so you want to ask because don't be afraid of asking those questions. Some people just want a club and they want to hang out and they never want to be successful. I know that sounds so hard to believe but it is absolute truth. People can be a
Mhm.
little strange. So find out that question from her, okay? And I'm gonna switch it over to Tavia
Okay.
so that we make
That's
sure we
really
equal
good.
time. Dial back, let us know what she said so that we can help you move forward. All right, Tavia, come on in. How can I help you?
There we go. Great morning.
Great
Great
morning.
morning. Um, Thank you for your help. I have all those messages out. So of three
Awesome.
different ones going out to people. Um,
So you're in process. You're in process with moving all these people forward, right? Right now.
mhm. I'm in
Okay.
process of moving all of them forward. So I'm just waiting for a few replies as well for those people.
Okay.
Um, and then I have my challenge coming up on the 10th, which is
Okay.
in a few weeks.
Right.
Um,
So automatically wanting to, so I would make sure that of course you're doing the 10-minute calls and things like that, right? Moving people to the challenge just to get them in, like anyone who's been like on the fence or now's not a right time or whatever it is. I think, I think like just part of your weapons chest, I would recommend to have something around the timing issue, like a video around talking about return on investment and how there's not going to be a better time. And just being genuine because I don't know about you, but crazy never takes a break. Right? Like if you got like everybody's got something. They got like your kids going to school, your kids coming back home, your kids getting married. Like it just never stops. And so you must come up with a video that is very like an honest like would you be open to so you want to ask them ahead of time would you be open to would you be open to looking at time in terms of so you want to make sure that you're not offending them, right? Although sometimes offending can help in some ways because it pushes things a little bit further along depending where they're at. Like would you be open to the truth that there really isn't a good time to start anything? There isn't a
mm,
good time to have a baby, right? I don't know about any of you, but like your first child, sometimes your first child comes, you're not even married. Sometimes your first child comes when you're like, oh my goodness, we thought we were gonna like be waiting 2 years and baby's coming. Like there's no time to have, there's no good time to have your first baby. There's no good time to start a business. There's no good time. Like, and most great things that happen, they happen because of a decision that didn't make sense. And so when people are constantly looking for this right, perfect time, right, this perfect time, so it could even be around this perfect time belief. Now, you're not going to call it that. Again, we got purpose and we got method. But this is what I feel that people are coming around, they're saying to you. Also, having like, and again, you don't have to focus on artillery, but in some ways it might be wisdom. And I'll tell you why. Your challenge is August 10th. we want to get as many people into that challenge as possible, because a whole week with you, they're going to sign up. And sometimes objections just fall away when people spend time with you. They thought it was an objection, but then they were like, oh, man, I'm ready. I'm in. Let's just get this going. And so it's a belief system. So I want you to start to think about, what are the things? This is like, again, we're reverse engineering. During the challenge, your team is going to have, like, we want to have like 50 people in, whatever your number is. It can be 1,000, but I'm just saying, you have all these people you want in. You're going to have objections before, during, and after all the time, right? We have before, during, and after an event. I want you to start to think about, what do I need to reverse engineer of things that come up that I am not going to have time or energy during it to craft, so that you're ready. You got the AK-47 over here, okay? You're like, I know exactly what I'm going to have in my weapons chest, so that you're so ready. Okay, I get this thing on. You get one on people thinking that you are so anointed. And I want you to, even if you create something on that, like, thank you, but quickly step it into, and you are as well. And like, even if it's just like declaring, decreeing, or it's talking about each one of your people, you created for such a time as this. Walk them through. And again, it's just a different way of sharing the same thing, your program. But you want to have a different spin on it. Don't send these videos via Messenger. So anyone who's really hot, because I don't want you to have that, problem with and again, Messengers, I mean, the whole thing, they're just weird. I like, my team some days can send hundreds, and the next day they send 2, and the second one says cannot send. We're like, what are you talking about right now? Right? Okay. Facebook Messenger is schizophrenic and needs to go on medication. So I'm just going to say that, right? We'll just leave their schizophrenia with them, right? You've had that for the last 2 days. So they got moodiness. Okay. Anyone who you're moving, let's just pretend it's old school times. We all did business, most of us, before we were on Facebook. We had an office, or we did telephone calls. Remember telephone? Right? So there are it's like a workaround. So I want you to be thinking about, so this is your homework. What are the possible things that I'm seeing right now that I can create a content? You're going to house it in boards, and you're also going to house it in your Facebook group. And then you are ready. Say ready. You're going to be ready, so that because this is the thing. People that are wealthy have a when idea. They have I'm looking for the no. I'm looking for the opportunity to go through the process with someone. They're not looking, wealthy people don't look for all conditions to be perfect. They're not looking for like, oh, the easy path. They're showing me the difficult. The more difficult a problem that you can solve, the higher you will be paid your whole life. So now you have boards and Facebook group. So you have it in your guide section, just like I was sharing with Leanna. And now you have the common, you could have it under, again, they don't know that you're overcoming objections, but it can be about like, time is an issue. Whatever it is, whatever their thing is that they're saying, you are anointed. You could just call it that. You are anointed. And be really clear that their assignment is totally different than yours. So these things are already going to come up. Now, I don't want you overworking at all, but wouldn't you rather do it now than do it the week that you're doing the whole week of Meet People, right? Because you want to be having 10-minute calls. You want to be closing the sales. You want people hot. And instruct your team to be detectives on what are people missing. Like, what are they missing in their belief gaps? Like, what is happening? Where are they missing? And what can you have ready ahead of time that is similar that you can have ready preemptively? Now, I don't want you overworking. I'd rather you're constantly just in the chat, like you guys moving things forward. And so do it for real people. right? You already have a couple people who are right now being like, it's not the right time. Like, you know, little Miss Stephanie's going to college in September, right? Talk the real conversation, because we're always saying it's not the right time. Like, is it ever the right time to lose weight, Tavia? Is it ever the right time to, like, right now I am like, and I do this periodically. I go back into intermittent fasting. I like reduce certain things that I'm having, and it's painful. I'll like go through, like, I don't have any sugar. Man, it's horrible. Is there ever a good time to stop having delicious Starbucks drinks? Is it ever a good time to stop eating cheese? Like, no way. No way, Jose. Right? That's the devil talking when somebody's saying can't have cheese, right? So that's what your client is going through. And they actually are delusional that a time is going to show up when everything is working well. So keep this in, because when we have a conversation, have a call, I want us to start to create some emails and posts that talk exactly about this. Like, and team, if you could pull up, I have one that's written that I say, like, about the laundry fairies. I can't remember exactly how it goes. It'll be in my content vault. But it just talks about, like, all the conditions, like you're waiting for everything to work out and everything to come together. Oh, where is it? I just feel like that, like, writing something along those lines for your person, for them to kind of laugh and to be able to go, oh, wait a second, I'm thinking like this too. And you don't do a call to action, you don't call them out. So we need to have a few of these where they just recognize themselves. You just want them to see themselves in your content, to mirror. So it's an email, it's a post about some of this, and it can become an audio to overcome this lie, right? It's a lie thinking that like this magical time is going to show up where kids behave, our husband totally supports us, all the bills are paid in advance, we got all this margin, nobody's bugging us, all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. We have to smash that lie out of the box, because she will if you allow her to buy that, she'll never step into her calling. And we're actually accountable for that. She's not going to step into this. So we're looking for the audio that match. This is where good marketing is. Audio that matches the video, that matches the email, that matches the post. Don't worry, I got you, Tavia. We're going to get this set up. Okay? So let me know what time we can meet tomorrow. We're going to get this all set up. But that would be kind of like the next thing, because you've got this coming up. It's an opportunity now for you to see what works as well, because you have a few people that are kind of close to closing, and you're getting the freak out. Everyone welcome the freak out. I love the freak out. When somebody finally goes, no, I can't because I don't have money, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. We finally got to the real conversation. Right? Love the freak out, guys. Freak out is where money is made. So a doctor who's paid the most is in the middle of a bloodbath in surgery, yes or no? A lawyer who's paid the most has taken on a case. Like, my sister is a lawyer in Toronto, and she had Hell's Angels sending death threats to her at one point. You know, you're in the middle of making the most wealth and impact when your life has that. We always see it as like, oh my goodness, I got to stop what I'm doing. No, that's a sign that you're doing it. What's awesome. All right. Is this helpful, Tavia?
Yes, it is very helpful. And I feel like recording these audios and having them like already ready to go, and then having emails that match and social media posts that match will really help build my arsenal and just things that people know. It feels really good to prep those things.
And around the 100K, right? So, like, because we want to have the standard. if you have, like, I had somebody message me who is working with another coach right now. They were in the challenge, or in the, whatever you call this, intensive. Um, and for them, like, they followed where everybody says, like, do a subscription and have a $5 and a $17 and a 47 and 247 and a whatever. And like, they've got like
Right.
this thing they can't manage. And now everybody thinks of them as low value, always available. When people think like, this sounds like church. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be. I was helping one of my daughter who's, she does a lot in her church, but just to like be careful about your time that you spend in things where people don't have a culture of value. Like, there's a book by Danny Silk called The Culture of Honor. I read it like 25 years ago when I was, I used to like lead worship and go into children's ministry. And I just like overdid everything. But I thankfully was mentored by a pastor who so valued everybody. So like, that's such a difference, right? Like, just so much honor and value. He just had such value for everything. Um, so you want to be careful. So when we have the marketing, so guys, all of you are listening. Anytime I'm talking to anyone, you apply it to yourself. Your marketing needs to be at your highest level. It doesn't mean that's all you offer, but your marketing is about, like, part of this too, Tavia, is we'll talk about your retreat. We'll talk about the oceanside things that will happen, right? We'll talk about some of these things. And when, again, remember, good marketing is you're having a conversation that is going on in your prospect's head, that they're wondering, how did you get in there? Like, how are you saying outside, out loud, what's only in my head that maybe I said to my spouse or my admin assistant or my best friend? So, exactly right. We want them all to align. This is why it's so much better to create marketing around that's your sales first. Sales first marketing is what I would call the company. This is what I call it the Kingdom Sales Academy for people to join. Of course, we do marketing, of course, we do delivery. But all your marketing needs to be around the sales of like what works with people. All right, let's bang out something. I want Gila to also have an opportunity, but let's bang out something that is, and we'll get all this done when we have our conversation. But something that is like the next thing that we're going to have ready before tomorrow. Like, what audio is missing or question is missing that we got to get out there today?
Two things I was thinking of. One thing is literally them believing that they can create that next level of income with their gifts and their talents. Um, it's like, it seems like a little bit like people believe in me, but they don't necessarily believe in themselves and what they're doing um,
Right.
to create massively more income. Like they may think they can make a little bit more income. But one of the things I teach people is I'm not here for you to get a $5 an hour increase. Like you could do that anywhere. You could do that by yourself. I'm here to help people get quantum leaps and to welcome in
Exactly.
quantum leaps.
Right. And again, it's because 10x is easier than 2x, because 10x you're also super excited about, and it's at vibrating at a very higher level. Right? I'm sure like you probably find, and you want to look for those people that are vibrating at that high level, and that almost like they're from your I always say from your planet. Like they like get you, right? So you want an audio that like is bold and that, they can create more income. What are some other things that we can just bang in there that you just declare over them? You can get 100 of those out today.
Um, it's like that their past income or past restrictions are not a predictor of the massive increase they can have for their future. Um, I don't believe it's been their work ethic. So I believe that what they're missing is the right system, the right coach and mentor, and the right mindset slash beliefs. Um, that they're closer than they've ever been to their next level of victory and success.
But it's actually I can't remember the term. I'll look it up for you. But it's like when you're really capable, it's actually in your way going 10x because
Because they're relying on their
they got to rely on themselves,
right.
right? And their ability. And truthfully, like as an owner, I would say it is truthful because most people that you meet are average. They're not really motivated, like hiring people, right? But like they have to get into the position of I only hire A players. I only work with people that are at this highest level. They don't realize that their next yes, and again, this is my book starts to come out, but that no is the beginning of yes. Like there's all these things that they have to like just like draw a line in the sand. Like I have you guys like just draw a line in the sand, move to the next thing. They have to say no because now they've just got everything flowing in all the time. They think they don't have time. To me, when people say they don't have time, I got to try not to get offended because I know. I had this guy who owns a company in town. He sent me a picture yesterday of a car he's working on all week.
Mhm.
And I suggest something that he can do. He has a company, and these guys are all running, and they don't know how to do sales well or anything. And he's just painting a car that he gives somebody else do. And he says he doesn't have time right now to have a conversation. To me, I'm like, okay, walk me through. You're not having time. Tell me about that. So your person is in this like world where they believe, and so I actually feel like it's like a journey with you. One of the first things they go through is, oh well, she's anointed, not me. It's almost like they just throw their calling on top of
Disassociate.
you. Yes. Like I think the audio needs um to transfer own, like they have to have ownership. Like this is what I feel like the environment has to be like this environment of ownership for them. um like breathe ownership into them because of some reason they think that they can, like, other people, we got to break the lie that other people are anointed. Like they know they are, but as soon as they got to take action, they just like, oh no no no, let's keep this in the. We're gonna prophesy, and we're gonna go to the altar calls, and we're gonna go up to the front, and we're gonna tell everybody, and everybody's like this whole fascination with the idea, as opposed to implementation. Because then there's risk, right? They need encouragement to step into risk. I feel. What else?
I agree with that. And I like how you mentioned the 10x is better than 2x as well, just getting that foundation.
And it's easier, right? Like they have to
It
actually
is
start to
easier.
believe, right? They are addicted to like a mediocre lifestyle. They want to stay. They actually do. And I know this sounds harsh, but a lot of people, when you meet them and you finally are the one that says all the stuff stops here and we're going to get started, they come to a grinding halt of like, wait a second, what do you mean? Right? I like holiotizing. I like saying it's somebody else's anointing. I like saying it's a time is later, right? So we want them to have a transfer of belief that only them can fulfill their calling. It is not transferable. Anything else?
I think that's all that I can think of at the second.
Okay.
But outside of that, they're not waiting on God. God is waiting on them.
Right.
But I don't know if that's for this audio or another one.
What do they, yeah, like I think that whole time thing, I think we've got to have that in there of around, like, because I hear people say that, like, I'm just waiting on the Lord. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
honey, he's just waiting on you.
that part.
Yeah. Like, Like,
This
but we oh, it's so
passiveness of just hoping that it's about to happen, it's about to happen. It's been 5 years. Let's take ownership and let's realize that God is sending people to help you make it happen.
exactly. Okay, so I feel like this needs, and this could actually go in the category of your like the declarations that get sent out to anybody anytime, right? Because we want to move them into the belief about themselves. So it can be in the identity category of belief. Like if you're looking at, if you're thinking about, some of them are about identity, like, can I do this? Will I do it? Is it somebody else? Because throwing off ownership to somebody else, it's somebody else's, then it becomes somebody else's problem. We want them to see that it's only them that's going to do it, nobody else, right? Like, wouldn't you say that's like one of the main things that we're dealing with here, is for them to take that ownership? They're the one to do it, and we'll have time as a separate thing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Hey, beautiful. I want to speak over you boldly today. You are not ordinary. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not here to make small money, live a small life, carry a small vision, or keep shrinking your assignment down to what feels safe. You are anointed to multiply. You're anointed to create wealth. You're anointed to build what God has placed in your spirit. You're anointed to bring solutions to the earth that carry your voice, your story, your wisdom, your leadership, and your obedience. And I need you to hear this clearly. Your calling is not transferable. No one else can become the answer God designed you to be. No one else can carry your oil. No one else can birth your vision. No one else can obey your assignment for you. So today, I break agreement with the lie that everyone else is more anointed, more qualified, more ready, more spiritual, more capable, or more chosen than you. You are chosen, capable. But even your capability has become too small for where God is taking you, because your next level cannot be built by self reliance alone. You need the right mindset. You need the right mentor. You need the right room. You need the right level of support. You need the faith to take the risk, because there is no reward without movement. There is no multiplication without decision. There is no next level without leaving the comfort of the current one. Your past does not get you to define your future. Your old delays do not get to dictate your next decision. Your previous inconsistency does not get to prophesy over who you are becoming. You are not addicted to average anymore. You are not available for mediocre anymore. You are not going to keep calling comfort wisdom when God has been calling you into overflow. I declare that your belief is rising, your courage is rising, your wealth capacity is rising, your standard is rising, your appetite for the life God showed you is rising. You are no longer waiting for someone else to prove what is possible. You are becoming the proof. You are going to build, you are going to multiply, you are going to lead. You're going to create the income and the impact and the movement and the legacy and the freedom attached to your yes. And you're going to stop negotiating with the version of you that was only trying to survive. That woman that brought you here, she cannot take you there. The woman you're becoming moves differently. She decides faster. She moves more. She receives more. She takes aligned risks. She invests with wisdom. She obeys with courage. She builds with God. She does not shrink when wealth comes near her. She does not apologize for wanting overflow. She understands that wealth is in her hands, and it becomes a blessing, legacy, provision, generosity, and kingdom impact. So I call you up, out from hesitation, out from the average, out away from fear, out away from delay, out of overthinking, and out of the old identity, and into the woman God has already been showing you. You are not here for baby money. You are not here to dabble with your dream. You are not here to die with your song still inside of you. You are here to build that thing, carry the wealth, fulfill the assignment, and become the woman who can hold what she has been praying for. Now move like she is already here.
I love it. Yes, yes, and yes.
Woohoo!
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Amen. I'll make sure I send that to you. Okay, love? I'm glad you love it.
Thank you.
You betcha. All right, guys, we are ready to move into our break. And Gila, you're going to start first at our next one when we do some teaching and have that space. Okay. So grab a snack, grab some water and coffee, have a quick stretch, and we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Clients All Summer. We're at day 4, if you guys can believe it, day 4. And there is a workbook, so please, team, to make sure to put that in the chat. Today, we are going to be doing, hands-on, cameras on, interactive. I want you guys all in. So today, we are going to be taking a look at the belief journey. So on day 1, you learned how to recognize what is fact and what you have interpreted. Day 2, you uncovered the currency of the client. And day 3, you identified the belief behind hesitation. So today, we're going to place that intelligence into the sales journey. Because a belief bridge is not only something you send when a prospect objects. Belief is built throughout. So I want you to think of it like an infrastructure of a house, right? You're not going to go and buy a home that, has all these beautiful things here, but has absolutely zero foundation. That would be completely stupid, right? We are going to make sure that we build the belief. So you're actually building a belief. You're framing it. You're helping them grow and go through it. What they see, belief is built through what they see publicly, right? But what they ask you privately. This is why the chats are so important. When people say, oh, well, I don't want to have to do. What you want to ask them is, if they don't want to have to do that, they actually don't want to make money. Some people want to get money, but people don't want to. Bible says, we create wealth, right? Wealth is created. It's not something that's just dropped in your lap. What they hear in your voice, what the evidence they receive, what happens between the calls, how the offer is presented, the sale begins, right before the offer is ever revealed. There's so much that's going in. How you curate your own environment, how you're showing up, the audios that you're sending before you ever send anything else. So, for example, right? So whatever main audio. So the one we just did in the VIP room with Tavia is a great example of when you're declaring and you're decreeing over somebody. Now, I want you to translate that into your company. That may not be the way you do things, but you can speak over people in very high levels and say amazing things. This becomes the foundation for anything else to be received when you're doing the sale, right? This is your starting place. And it's biblical, right? This is Luke 6:38 right here. Give and it will be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. The measure you use, it'll be measured to you also. You're building that bridge. The sale begins before the offer is ever revealed. And I want you to think about that your sales, right? The sales chat becomes confirmation. It's not convincing. So what belief did you guys uncover yesterday that maybe you previously misdiagnosed? What are you starting to see? Put that in the chat. I want you to think about that. What is happening for you? Because truly, most founders have been trained to think sales happen on that final sales call. And this is just naive. And it's actually, it may work for something that's low level, like if you're switching from one plan of your cell phone to another. Sure, there's probably a couple objections you do at the end. But if there's something that is 10, 20, 50, 100,000, 200,000, $1 million house, $500,000 offer, $1 trillion deal, there's going to be nuance that's going to happen during the time. A lot of people believe that marketing creates leads. Now, again, I'm not saying marketing doesn't create leads. But if you're marketing on a logical level, right, sometimes you're going to get people that want to get something. They want to get. You're marketing on this logical level. You're speaking to them. Chats books the call. The call creates the sale. That is complete. That is just naive. Marketing creates the leads, right? We have leads, and then all of a sudden we just go in the chat. Hey, do you want my thing? We don't, and then they buy. This is naive. And I want all of you to see that you're no longer in that space. The final decision is built through a sequence of smaller decisions. There's micro decisions that are happening as people are guided across their own belief bridge. You have your own belief bridge when you're going through something. And I want you to pay attention to it, because the way that you're having issues with clients, it actually gives us an indicator of how we actually buy. The things that we go through, we are actually having an opportunity to see, oh my goodness, I actually buy like that. Maybe you're a difficult person. Maybe you're not. Maybe you avoid people. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're highly engaging. Maybe you throw things in that don't even need to be talked about. So I want you to pay attention to a little bit about that. The person has already been deciding before they arrive. They've been deciding while reading your post. They're deciding while listening to your audio. They're deciding while watching you respond to another person. They're deciding while you follow up. They're deciding when you disappear. They're deciding when you handle their concern with care in public. They're deciding whether your words and behavior agree. Every interaction, they're deciding. So it's either strengthening. I want you to think about this as like this is being strengthened or it's being weakened. Because you don't want to work with everybody. You want to work with somebodies who are going to do the work, who are going to fulfill on what they said, that they're coachable. I love coachable people. You guys have been fantastic all week. Can I just say that? I love coachable people. You know, there was somebody who attended this week who blocked me, who was actually helped by me this week. And I thought, that is so hilarious. Like 6 years ago, that would have taken me off my game. But it's made me realize how much we allow other people to just flatter us. We live in a society where we just want people to say, oh, what you're doing is perfect. It's just wonderful. But we serve a God who is going to call us out on those things. If we are saying to other people, what your strategy is amazing and you're amazing and everything's awesome, and it isn't, that's unhealthy. So I just encourage you, don't get into relationships with clients that are like that. Thank you, Leanna. Right? Like we want to be coachable. We want to be humble. We want to be in that position where God, like, show me. Like really, guys, if you can collapse time frames and become the person and make the money and not have any harm to your family and have a great life, don't you want it? Like, to me, that's simplicity scales, complexity fails. Anyhow, so I want you to take a look at, I want you to go into a belief journey. So a belief journey audit. I have all these audits. I know audit isn't a sexy word. I have a time and energy audit that I think is fantastic. I recommend it's something that you do with your clients if they're making, really good money. Most people who aren't making money, like under 10K, it's because their time is they're not using their time well at all. And they don't stay consistent. So they don't need an audit. They need a kick in the butt, right? So they just need to get in the game, get going. So today I want you to think about somebody who has had your offer but took no move on it. And if you currently don't have an upgraded offer, make sure we get a call together and we can get your offer done in like literally, I don't want anybody to get overwhelmed. Your offer, your marketing, your audios, there's things that can happen so fast when you have a good system. They just can get everything in order and happen really quickly. But I want you to take a little bit of a belief journey audit with somebody. This is in your workbook. What did they believe about the problem before they encountered you? See, some of you just stop people dead in their tracks. Like Tavia, you got that anointing. You're just like, people up until now, they had all this. Gila, you too. Up until now, boom. And now you're coming in with all excuses, all the things, all of it has to be washed away. And we want them to have that kind of feeling inside of them. What did your public content help them to understand? So sometimes you don't always have to ask these kinds of questions, but when you're chatting with somebody, you say like, just curious. Like, I'm just curious. Like, what did you watch? What did you find? What did you think was, because this gives you a lot of good feedback. You want to know, like, what did they figure out? What currency did you uncover privately? To me, like, just the gold is in the chats. People will be so much more honest when you're taking the time and talking to them in the chats. Like, Tavia, you'll need to share just a little bit at some point, just on that, like we did that audio yesterday, and you sent it to her, and just that feedback, like, it blew her mind. I'm not going to say anymore. I'll let you do it in a minute. But, like, what belief are you still letting kind of linger? I want you to think about it like a disease, right? Like, I don't know about you, but there's certain things I like to work on, and there's certain things that I like to pretend aren't problems. Right? For example, like, I don't like cardio as much as I like doing weights. Okay, can I be the real? Anybody else real here? Right? There's things that I would just rather do, and so there's certain things I'm just not as excited about doing. And so we all know you want to be looking for weakness. You're looking for, there's like a gap where your person, you're chatting with them, and you may not call people out on stuff. I know early on in my journey, that was probably the hardest thing for me, because I was definitely prophetic and an encourager. And, even though I'd worked with the hard things with people and families, I still was like, that wasn't my strength, was to be able to have that concern tone. Maybe you yourself, you're really good at concerned, but not as good at encouraging. Maybe you're really good at building the gap, but then you just forget about to dial back to people and say, I remember that you have about like a $30,000 a month gap. I would love to explore some solutions. Would you be open to that too? So put it in the chat. Where do you feel is your weak link? Where is that? What belief is appearing for the first time for you right now? What belief are you seeing is on the belief bridge that your people have? Now, don't get overwhelmed. Anyone who's listening is like, I have no idea. That just means you're not doing enough activity. Once you start having somebody who's doing hundreds of chats across all platforms, wouldn't that be amazing? Like, here's the thing is, I want everyone just to understand that $1 million is 100% doable. And what's in your way is your belief systems. And if you can just like take all of it, pack it in a box, mail it to your ex-husband, and say, I'm just not going to even like deal with any of that, or somebody in your family, just like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm just like, I'm not going to have that. I'm going to suspend my disbelief. And I'm going to realize that if I have one team who's doing all this daily, and I'm getting on high level calls, creating content and delivering for my people, I can do this. That's it. So what belief? What belief? Also, where are you expecting the call? Like, where are you expecting too much to happen on the final call? If things don't get worked out in between, if all the things in that like that they are missing don't get worked out before the strategy session needs to be, we have ironed everything out in chat, all the stuff, all the things. Though you don't believe in this, you need this, you're not strengthened about this, you're losing a bit on your identity, you think this might be a time thing, and then you get down to usually the last thing to deal with is money. Money and logistics, but logistics kind of is an onboarding, is money. If they're feeling everything is good, then you can say, is the only thing holding you back, is the only thing finances, because it's the right time. Because if their belief bridge is strong, will they find a way? Yes or no? They're going to find a way. And guys, that is their first activity into their future self, is paying you. Do not give away anything for free. when you say to somebody, I'll just do this, have you ever done something in a church or a volunteer or for an organization? You're like, I think I'm going to help. And they just don't see it because they didn't pay. People who pay attention. Okay, so I want you to think about what that looked like for you. Any of those things that I've said. Like, where have you seen it being weak or a breakdown? And I promise that Gila will bring you in next. And then we'll go into the 4 belief frames. And even if this is not exactly something you want to work on, I think we'll have time because I didn't overpack the content. So everyone else have your question ready as well. Hi, lovely. You're good.
Need to get quicker with the unmute.
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. Those things still absolutely come up all the time. So when you think about this, like unlocking people in the belief bridge and pre-framing and reframing and asking questions in the audios, I'm sure it's new because there isn't anybody else who's doing this in the industry, so it's not going to be heard of. What is something that you're seeing in yourself or that you're noticing on how you connect with people that you would like to come up with a new system that we could implement right away?
What I'm seeing in myself feels like an extension of what I spoke to you about yesterday, which is, did you call it the tyranny of urgency? I love that so much. Yeah, right. What I need to do now versus creating the system and building out what will have the 100 messages go out and then be able to respond and that piece. So that's really where I find myself. And I think yesterday I said double-minded, one foot in both worlds. And still, like, there are some proposals that I have promised to people. I got one out this morning. I have 2 more to go. So there's like the getting that done versus the creating, these systems and whatever it needs to be to
Right, exactly. Well, part of it too
systematize.
is, again, I just want to encourage you that being in the Kingdom Sales Academy, you're going to have access to exactly what you need to do in order instead of trying to take 10 years to figure it out, right? Like it's better to, it doesn't have to be me, but collapse the time frame of this is the exact same system I need to implement. Just something very, very simple is before my life online, I did proposals as well. And I stopped doing proposals because they're basically a pitch. And I don't do proposals at all anymore. I won't even send one. And so I have a whole system for you to be able to work exactly in order so you can discern the currency of the client and it saves you time and that you get a yes and they pay on the second call, some kind of deposit. That's it. No more proposals. And I understand that, it's often in the corporate that people will do that. But if you switch to, I'm now having a $50,000 offer. I'm working with 20 people over the next year, and that's it. It's going to be elite and exclusive, and that is it. Once you set that as a bar, it's hard because you'll start to have conversations with people. You're like, oh, I could work with them and get some money right now. And you have to say no. And keep going because it's in numbers. Right? I know I can find your million in if I sat with you for an afternoon, which I only do with my VIP people. But if I sat with you, I know I could go through and say, these are some possible people that are going to buy right now. So I understand about this, you're still into, but you've got to go through it, the dirty 30. And the dirty 30 is like, get everything that you need to set yourself up to get into massive action. It's not going to feel neat and pretty. And be okay that it's not neat and pretty, and just eliminate all distractions. So I don't know if you just have multiple things that you're doing right now. Like just say the holy no of it's going to have to just be this one bar because it's the only way out of the trap. Otherwise, you'll be constantly sending and doing one-to-one, and they'll be like, no, you're telling your kids, like, I don't know if you've ever done this. I have. Just 5 more minutes. I'll be right there in 5 more minutes. Come on, parents, all of us. 5 more minutes, another 5 more minutes, another 10 minutes, another hour, another 3 hours. We didn't eat anything. I've had kids fall asleep on the floor, like this is years ago. And I go, oh my God, never again. So if you want like to just step out of it, it's more no's than yes. Number one, it's more no. It's just no. No is the beginning of yes, number one. Number two is follow somebody who's got track record. Step into a system. Never think, this is part of being brilliant. It's terrible. I'm so coachable now, but there was a time that I probably wasn't. Really. Because I was like, and because I do know that I'm smarter than most people. So that I'd be like, no, 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 no. And then I had to get pummeled to be coachable. To go, okay, show me, coach. Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. And just be willing and be willing and be willing. That if you can collapse the time frame and you don't have to figure it out, just follow somebody that feels aligned. To go, if they have a way and a method, like, first of all, I know I can help you. I know
you
that,
can too.
right? Like, I know I can help you, and you're going to all of a sudden have this freaking amazing life. If I didn't have balance, everybody wants this balance thing. But what I'm saying is I have fun in my life. When I'm on my date night, I'm present with my husband. When I'm having dinner, I'm talking to my kids. I work out with Paige, who's 22, the one who did police and is in criminal justice. Man, working out beside a 22-year-old, that does challenge you. And I pray with her. We get time. We prayed this morning for half an hour together. Man, is that rich, guys? Like, to me, like, that is fruit. Fruit for
Beautiful.
me is being able to have the both and, right? I'm not like half in, half out, super irritated, ticked off, like wondering, like, everybody just leave me alone so I can, like, but you do have to have some massive action. You got to have this massive action and keep realizing that it's you that's in the way, and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And the no's are going to be painful, like no to sugar. Like, and again, I'm just using it as an example. No to sugar never feels fun, right? No to whatever doesn't feel fun. No to, oh, I'm sending this proposal and I'm going to end up back overworking. Like, this proposal you sent was probably another one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how much would they pay you?
$20,000. That's the
Right?
initial. I mean, it could become then with a retainer, but that's the
It's
minimum
just too
there.
low, right? It's just too low. It's too low for your skill set, right? And sometimes, and I'm just going to be gentle and kind because I went through divorce. Sometimes when we are going through tough stuff, like, we still, like, the people around us or those, and I'm not putting any blame. I'm just saying our nervous systems were out of whack. And that has to come into balance. So part of it coming into balance is this is an area you can be a powerhouse in that can protect your nervous system.
The thing that keeps coming up for me is there are multiple amazing things I'm working on, and I know I need to pick one. I'm not trusting myself to pick the one, circumvent the others, and focus in that way. That I see it now as we're talking, right? It's like I keep picking up to try and move 20 things, let's say, and not trusting the one and moving it because it feels like maybe something will come from here and I just want a band-aid and then this is
Exactly.
the
And then you
truth. I
can
know
you never get out of the 80. Like, this 80% is the 2x. You can't break out it. Like, it's really the quantum leap thinking is, like, again, I'm saying, like, nobody gets excited about pork chops. Thinking about having a super fancy 7-course meal on a yacht with all these famous people gets people excited. So you want to be thinking of that version of your life, because that version of your life can afford to hire somebody to do all the stuff you hate doing. This piecemealing, band-aid, 7,000 things, being everything to everybody is what causes us to be exhausted. And of course, you know that on a but your subconscious is still dragging around this old version of you. And we will never take action to a future that doesn't align with the belief we have about ourselves. We just won't take action because we'll go, well, that won't be me. And so what I want to do is come around, link my arm with you to say that there's people who maybe spoken to your life that are close to you that are wreaking havoc on your nervous system. So how you emotionally handle that is financially create the business where your nervous system can be in, so that you keep closing these sales and you get to a place where you're going, I'm never going to be in a relationship with a man or anybody that doesn't see me at the same value as I am in the corporate or business world. But if you keep lowering your standard in the business one, you're going to attract actually, because I really believe you'll meet the person. Like I believe if people should marry for assignment, not on compatibility.
Oh.
Okay, so this is your assignment. You're going 100 miles an hour. And you meet that person. This is the cross section. You will meet them because you are obedient to step fully into what God has for you. Right? I wouldn't have met like Christian, software engineer. He actually had an underwear line. If you can imagine, it's so cute. He has Christian Hansen's on all underwear that all of our family wear. You know, in the Ukraine, he had all these other business things he was doing. He had the biggest men's group in Hillsong, Brussels. So like if I hadn't been doing all the things he wasn't doing, we wouldn't have had this, even though we met online. You want you to step into massively. You're like, I am not compromising. I'm doing $1 million this next year. Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Right? Because if we can solve things with money, guys, like here's the thing is there's tons of problems. Wouldn't you guys agree? Like I can't make my dad younger. If I see him at the nursing home, I can't make him younger, right? I can't solve that. And no amount of money is going to make him younger. Does everybody agree this? I mean, of course, I wouldn't even try to attempt to do any of these weird things. I'm not saying that. I'm just meaning there's problems you can't solve with money. So take all the problems, all of you listening, all the problems that could possibly be solved with money and write them down. Then solve them. Because that's so doable. You just find the people and they pay you. You're making it too complicated. See, this is part of the over delivery, over giving. I'm not worthy. You know, who's going to really buy? I don't really have leads. All this nonsense starts over here that keeps us in the no boundaries, not a good price point. Just simplify it and go, no, this is my boundary. This is a price boundary. Part of it too is if you're working with a company and you're asking for 20,000, it's like going to a dentist who wants a crown. And he says it's $299 instead of $3,000. They'll wonder, right? Did that person go to jail? Like, why is their price so low? I would be, and again, would you be open to trusting me to sit down with you and pick the one thing and run 100 miles an hour in your constraints, again, constraint theory, your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday system, or whatever we call it, so you can be with your kids, that you're working in those parameters, full guns, and then totally off on the other times. And we do the one thing, one price, 1 year, 1 million, one traffic source, one conversion way.
Yes.
Because you don't need, this is part of it, is when we start doing everything and be everything to everybody, we have all these things, we're actually saying, God, I don't trust you to multiply me in this one. Because here's what the worst that can happen, guys. Remember, if your marketing is all to the 50K or 100K or 30K, whatever it is, high level, right? High level, if all your marketing and all your sales, all your audio is all at the highest level, the worst that can happen is people can see you at that level as being worth that and then say, well, I can do your 10K program. And you're like, oh, snap. Before, I was doing all my marketing for the 10, and it was such a struggle to even get that closed. Now, people know your price is 50 or whatever, 100. They are not going to, they're going to be like just thankful to get to work with you at this level. Are you guys with me? As opposed to all your marketing around my $27.37, I'm free, I'm available all the time. Because Gila, if you're saying to these people, you have Voxer access, you have everything access, you have, you want to like, whatever you want to do, call me in the middle of the night, I am for you. That comes from this low level, right, where our nervous system didn't feel safe, where we felt like we had to be everything to everybody, that we, if we didn't, because now you're going to attract terrible clients. Because in a law firm, like you just know these things. You know that somebody would give a $100,000 retainer, $500,000 retainer. So since you know that, it's ridiculous to operate anything less. We're going to pick the highest problem you solve so well. And we're going to make it so elegant and so elite that the people that you meet that say no are going to regret it. And the people that say yes, you're going to have the most freaking fun with 20 women who pay well, and they come to your retreat, and you write that off, and you have so much fun with your kids, and you feel so present with them. Isn't that what you want? All right, so let's simplify. Let's get your offer figured out right away, because everything's going to flow from, I've got this highest level thing, and we start with sales, not marketing. And then we reverse engineer what that looks like, and it's something that can happen very fast. All right, love? So let's figure out that situation. Does that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
Okay, awesome. So, guys, we are on this journey of being able to figure out like what are the right audios? What are all the things that we need to have in here? And so the 4 belief frames. Now, there are more, but we have a pre-frame that the public communication that opens up belief. So again, our emails we want to be thinking about how do I unlock somebody emotionally, not just say, I got this and I got this and there's 3 steps for this and there's this and there's this and there's, we want to unlock and talk about what's going on in their mind. There is a mid-frame, which is our private communication that uncovers truth. I love the sentence that that you praise publicly and correct privately. I just people who aren't classy, like if they're not classy online, not classy on the post, not classy when they're responding, they're not classy in the masterclass, not classy in your challenge, they're not classy when you send them a proposal, they're not classy when you send them an audio. No more amount of teaching or education is going to make them classy. They show up and they get to decide, and you can discern. So pre-frame is public. Right? We're going to do these posts. What we're saying, what's on the inside of people's heads. Sometimes you may read some of my reading and go like, why are you so intimate with us? Why are you talking about like your dad or your daughter or things? Because I know my person likes that I'm willing to be vulnerable and talk about the real reason we're doing this. Your person wants to hear why the real reason you're doing this. If it's just goobly gop around business or leadership or whatever that is, then we just sound beige like everyone else. So we have a public pre-frame, we have a mid-frame, and this is in the chats. This is really your ability as a CI agent to uncover the truth. Unlock them. If you unlock them so well and they don't feel shame or condemnation and they believe they can do it, isn't that amazing? They're not going to go to somebody else. You have your bridge frame between conversation communication that strengthens belief. Sometimes you're doing that, again, I recommend you start doing that right away in the chats. And the payout frame, the offer, the value, the investment, the next step, these clean decisions when you're near the end. Have I run out of space? Yeah. So we have this, if you're thinking about it this way, we have persuasion, we have persuasion. We have these quadrants here of what's happening here. This last part is around the money piece, right? You have the payout frame. So this is all the things that are working out all those pieces. We don't talk about the money piece in the beginning. Even if somebody says, okay, that sounds awesome, what you do, I love it, how much is it? Right? Again, we keep going into questions. You know, you can say, I currently don't know enough about your situation to be able to even recommend what I think program or mentorship you should step into. That is genuine. So we're having this persuasion, right? It shows up in our marketing, shows up in how we're talking in our emails. We're looking at this public pre-frame, right? So we have a public pre-frame. But again, everything in here has to do with the buying and the beliefs that we see happen in what the conversation that's going on in the mind of your prospect. They're having a conversation. They're having things going on. We want to make sure that we're saying it because then they have respect for you. So you got your public pre-frame, you have your bridge frame, you have your private, and then you have your payout. Again, the chats are happening all the way through. You're opening, you're learning how to unlock, you're sending audios, or, and again, this can sound like a lot of work, but really, if it's all figured out, just like we're sharing with Tavia, with Leanna, if it's figured out ahead of time, and you already know what are some of the things, you can record this and have it like artillery that is ready, that you're not sending. You're at the beach, you're out at the cottage or at the lake with your kids, and somebody else is sending mass amounts of personalized automated messages. Can I get an amen? Nobody wants automated robotic AI. We have a hungry world that's craving attention, affection, connection. And so, and people buy emotionally, right? And then they back it up logically. All right, where was I in this? All right, I'm going to go back to my notes because I kind of got off here. So does everybody understand the pre-frame, the mid-frame? So the pre-frame is public communication that helps people recognize the problem, the consequence, the possibility, and new explanation. So these are pillars that you're looking at where they have the problem figured out that you're sharing and you're talking about what it looks like, the consequence if they don't solve that problem, the possibility, and we talked about this in the other days, and the new, like a new way of doing it, which is really your offer, but you don't talk about it like an offer. You talk about it in the currency. The mid frame, where we're looking at the private communication that helps you uncover the currency, and these can be anywhere in here. We're looking at the currency, we're looking at the meaning, qualifications, and the belief gaps. And the bridge frame, communication between the conversations and calls. Okay, so there's conversations, texts, and calls. We're talking about solution beliefs, right? Whatever they're saying that their solution is, right? When somebody says, I don't have any money, are they telling you that they have a solution for what they're going to do? Yes or no? Right? They have no solution. They're just saying they don't have any money. So they're going to stay in doing this exactly the same thing. Self-belief. And we have decision, confidence. And then the payout frame, which is when you're now, right? Because it doesn't start with the offer. That's when you're presenting the offer at the right time after your 10-minute call. We have the value, right? We want to be able to share the offer in terms of the value. You never share an offer if they don't first see your value. Never share an offer where there hasn't been enough weight in the value. Then they learn about what the investment is. and the next steps, like what's happening next. Often you don't want to really talk about that until everything's been worked out. And the money piece. So if somebody says, well, I'm just curious, like, when are you meeting, or how often do you meet, or what does this look like? Well, if you haven't figured every single thing out, like, and again, don't go into a hornet's nest. Don't go into asking questions that they're not interested. But if you haven't worked out that this is a yes and that they are willing to pay, you don't start talking about logistics. Although if they start saying, when does it start? How often is, what are they actually telling you? Right? They've already made a buying decision, right? They're interested. So when somebody says that, so I'll address it right now, so please write it down. When somebody is starting to say things like, yeah, so when are you meeting during the week, and what time zone do you serve? Do you serve multiple time zones? They're asking those questions. They're at a yes. So what you can say is just start to say it like that. Hey, Samantha, if I hear you correctly, you are sounding, and just slow it down. You're sounding like you have made a decision to get started. So if they have not worked out all the money piece, sounds like you're ready to get started. Do you see that too? And they might just say, yeah, but I don't know. And they'll share something else, but I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have enough money. Usually when they're asking about logistics, they've already made a decision to say yes. However, sometimes people jump the gun, so don't step into it and think, oh, I'm going to start answering. Oh, yes, we meet Tuesdays, Thursdays. We have 7,000 modules. You have Voxer access. Just don't go into any of that. Resist the temptation to do that. If you haven't worked out the money, then don't even talk about that stuff yet, because nobody really cares about that. They do, but they don't. Are you guys with me? We all want the payoff. We're going to figure out really, are logistics in your way? Right now, if I said, go out your front door, run down the street, you're going to go to the last person on your street, and in their mailbox is a check for $1 million. Are you guys going to stop and ask me, do I need to wear running shoes? Do I wear pants, or do I wear a skirt? Yes or no? None of you. So they don't really care about logistics. They only say it because they're saying, I want to do it, but I'm not quite ready to say yes. Everybody caught that? So when they say that, then you can slow it down a little bit and say, hey, it sounds like you're ready to get started. Do you see that too? All right. Hope that opened your eyes if you guys didn't see that ahead of time. Okay? So we've got the public, the private, the bridge, and the payout. So I want to go into back into a love seat. We want to do, as fast as possible because we only have 12 minutes left. But I want you to think about a belief. And then if there's a pre-frame or a bridge or a private or a payout question or something that you need some help with around a belief, right? A belief I've been waiting to handle privately should first be introduced publicly. Okay, so that's something that we could work on. We could even do that one. Why don't we just do that one? It's in your workbook. So the belief that I've been waiting to handle privately should first be introduced publicly through. So I don't know if you guys saw my post yesterday. Anybody see my post yesterday about the $500 client versus a $50,000 client? Anybody see that? So that is a way of introducing publicly a conversation that later will dial into privately. Okay, I can read it to you if you would like, just to give you guys an idea. Okay. $500 client versus the $50,000 client. The $500 client says, I hope you realize how much this is costing me and my family. When do you think I'll have ROI? Can you guarantee it? Can you send me the 72 case studies to prove ROI? Do you think that I'll be successful in 2 months or 4? My last coach said I'd get a good ROI, but I didn't. I think it's her fault. This is all before sending the $500. The $50,000 client. Money sent. Thanks. Okay? So what am I doing? Like, why did I post that? Who's ready to go first? And then we'll unlock your version of this. Who's ready to go first? Put up your hand. All right, Tavia. So I am actually having a conversation that's in other people's heads, right? Anybody had a client like that? Anybody
Yes.
have somebody? Yes, right? A nightmare. So what am I saying? What am I saying in my marketing that's part of my sales? What am I saying in that?
You're saying that the lower level investments is a different type of person and they're focused on a lot of minute details where the person who's ready to make larger investments, they take action um, fast and they're decisive and they figure out enough that they don't have to ask 50 questions.
Right. So what is it telling anyone who wants to work with me?
It's telling them one that we're starting at 50K and
Right.
probably, and two that I don't waste time with the small things because it brings on people that nobody wants to work with.
Right. The people that want everything. They want everything. Right? Those people are bloodsuckers. They are energy vampires. I am saying this is the difference between the type of person I won't work with and the type of person I will work with. And people who are reading it going, "Oh snap, I just asked the coach for 72 case studies." There's right? They get to see themselves in it. And so it's called repel marketing. And we're going to be doing some of it with you guys. Repel marketing. So I'm saying that. So, what version would you like to have? What's something that you would like to say that would be in your chat? Could be a reel, can be a post, can be a story, can be a email, can be an audio. Remember, we always reverse engineer from the sale backwards to the marketing, not marketing to the sale, like Brendan Kane, although I love him dearly and I'm so thankful I got to have dinner with him. But I'm just saying it's a different way of doing it.
So, um,
What would you love to just bang out and just go,
mhm,
we got this done right now?
mhm. Perfect. With the same frame as the one you just did. I
Yeah,
like it.
that
I
kind of
like it.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you like
Um,
for your version of that?
I'd say the $1,000 client versus let's do $50,000 client.
Okay. And you know what? You could probably just do, and you could probably just do um a version very similar, like you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like um and what you could do is like for your different levels too, another way of doing this is to look at, you can say my VIP client versus whatever, somebody who says something like, so they say a certain line that you want to have people to stop saying to you.
Hmm.
Okay, some of these, and we could work on this too, because this is also a great thing to have in your content calendar that you do one times a week every week.
Hmm.
Okay, we're going to be doing a whole highlight on that, on the marketing side of it over the next few weeks. So get ready, get your seat belts locked and loaded, because you'll have the audio, the email, the post, the story, the reel, the chat, and the video version. Who's excited?
Very much so.
Amen. So so looking at the $1,000 client, what are some of the things that you see in how they buy?
They'll ask like, in how many days will I have my money? I guess I would say my money back, or we could just say return on investment. They'll ask, um, do some people quit because they couldn't pay for the whole thing?
Right. So what we're really talking about is Low level questions versus high.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Um, they ask, will you be doing this again next year?
Oh, next year. Wow.
That part, I'm being dramatic, but yeah,
No, but I know what you're saying. It's like, oh, you mean when you still have the problem that you've been delaying for a whole year?
that part.
Yeah. What else?
And what's another one? Do you I think, and how many days do people do this? Will you be doing this? And they say something about, I want to do one for married people. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to, I don't want to take money from my household. How else do they say it? Something along those lines, like, oh, I don't want to impact my household expenses, or
Okay. So we're going to be comparing, right? Comparing the two. Really, we're comparing a bad client with a good client, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
I would
then,
I would
mhm.
do 100K, my 100K client versus $1,000 client. I think something around those lines. That's what I would like to see. Something around that, just to be able
Okay,
to,
open up.
um, well, because what are you saying when you do that? Tell me. Everybody, put in
That
the
I have
chat.
$100,000 offer?
Right, you are getting so fast, girl. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So exactly, right? So what you're saying is, I've received that kind of payment before.
Hmm.
It's
Thank you,
just it's
Lord.
just a yeah, it's just a game changer, right? For just sometimes we think, "Oh, I don't want to be oh, guys, there's like this thing called false humility. False humility with pastors, with people that are, it doesn't matter, Jewish, you can be Christian. It's just false humility. They just think it's being so humble. It's like false humility is actually pride, right? It's actually pride. So do you want to be overt or covert?
Um, I would say overt because I feel like the first thing we said was overt.
Right. So being really, really firm and really out there. I mean, sometimes it can, like, I get people just like from stuff like that, just be like, oh my goodness, that's so not Christian. Oh my goodness, who talks like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I'm just so thankful, right? Like I love to be able to be that firm with people, right? So, um, okay, so I want to write this a little bit more. Thank you guys. I know our time is almost up, but we want to make sure that we have something that we bang out that is really strong. And again, you can use this or a portion of it. Can you guys see that as an audio once you start to see that kind of person that you're messaging that needs to have their beliefs changed? And again, we're not diagnosing a specific person, right? We're pre-handling. Everybody see the pre-handle? You can write about all the things. Like if you look in, you'll see I do this all the time. I just pre-handle and get rid of things that you don't want even in your world. This is a big leap. I know Gila's going, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, having to say no to all these. But the no makes room for yes. Do you guys see this? No makes room for yes. And then all of a sudden, you've got like a better quality life. Okay. So we could do the combination between the two, or we can have it really, really, what kind of flavor do you want it to be? Like where we kind of compare the two, what $1,000 client's like versus a 100K client.
Like loving yet bold.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Some people are not expensive clients. They are expensive to coach. At $1,000 client often asks, will you be doing this next year? Can I think about it? What if I can't keep up? What if I take money from my household? What if I already tried something and it didn't follow through? What if my husband doesn't agree? What if I'm not ready? The 100K woman asks, what is this delay costing me? What do I need to master? What support do I need to actually follow through? What decision would the next version of me make? What part of my business is leaking money? What needs to be fixed now so I'm not still talking about this next year? That's the difference. One woman protects her current reality, the other woman funds her future. One uses spiritual language, household language, timing language, I need to think language to stay exactly where she is. The other takes ownership. She does not pretend delay is wisdom. She does not make her household the reason she refuses to create more income. She does not use a past lack of consistency as proof she should never invest again. She says, if I didn't follow through before, then I need stronger support this time. That is wealth language. Excuses will always sound reasonable to the version of you that wants to stay safe. But your next level will not be built by the woman who keeps defending what she cannot move. It will be built by the woman who decides, invests, implements, and becomes responsible for the life she wants. The question is not, can I afford this? The question is, how long am I willing to keep paying for the same problem with my time, energy, peace, and unrealized income? Whew. Come on.
Phenomenal.
Bring it on. Bring it
Wow.
on, eh? Oh my goodness. Guys, send those out, send those out, send those out. Go implement that. I'll get that to you in text right away, Tavia. And guys, if you need any portion of this, make sure you reach out to us, because this is fire. This is actually where you unlock your next level. Does everyone see this? Come on. Those were just a couple messages we went through today. So tomorrow, 11 a.m., we're going to meet again. I want you guys to be fiery. Let's do some rappel marketing. Gila, you need to have access to the Sales Boss Suite AI, so I'll make sure that you have that. And if anyone else who's been listening and part of this wants that, you can for 30 days. It is included in the Kingdom Sales Academy right now, but reach out to me. Reach out to me if you're needing some help with that. But let's do some rappel marketing. Let's get a post out. Let's get an email out. Let's get an audio out. Let's get a declaration that talks about the kind of woman. Now, again, this is not calling people out. It's calling people up. Does everybody see the difference? You're not calling them out. You're calling them up. So lean in. I want to hear about your 10 that you send. And if you have no idea what to do, send me a message. Get in, get them sent. And if you can do 100, that would be absolutely brilliant and bold. And let's move things to the next level for you to close your next sale. You don't need as many as you think to make $1 million. So proud of you guys. Thank you for all that you did for the last couple hours and all week. We'll see you at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Unmute and say goodbye. Bye now.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.